Hello, my name is Ian Marshall, and the topic of my speech is track and field. This is my audience. Football was once my passion, for I'd always dream of going to high school and playing football. I would say it over and over again how I needed to be this amazing football player. I had finally graduated middle school and got to high school where I was finally able to fulfill my childhood dream of playing football. After one full junior varsity season of bench warming, I realized I'm not that good at football. After all, it's not all about having fun all the time, especially when you're not that good at it. No one has fun being terrible at anything. Once football season had ended, my new goal was to now get better at football. But my football coach had recommended track and field to me as a form of off-season training. So I went to sign up for track and field, and when I ran my first race, I won it, and I noticed that I might actually be good at this. Then so started something that would basically define some of my greatest accomplishments. Born into a Jamaican family where track and field holds an abundant value, it is only right for me to say that it is responsible for who I am today. For as long as I can remember, track and field has been a part of my family. I remember watching Michael Johnson of the U.S. break both the 400 and the 200 records. It did not mean anything to me at the time, but once I began to participate in the sport, I came to understand what all the excitement was about people running in an oval. After countless amounts of races, which brought countless amounts of experience, both good and not so good, and the decision that has left me on the fence with what I'm doing with my life, I can thank track and field for a lot, as it holds a big responsibility for where I am today. Track and field is one of the oldest athletic competitions known to mankind. It dates way back to as far as ancient Greece, where the first Olympics were held. The track portion of it consists of 5 sections: sprints, mid-distance, long distance, hurdles, and relays. For each section of the track, they are broken down into further events that can be competed in and have their own starting styles. For sprints, there are the 60, the 100, 200, and 400 meter dashes. These events usually consist of participants starting in a crouching position, which is otherwise known as a 4-point stance, and waiting the sound of the starting gun. Athletes that take part in these events are specifically known as sprinters. Most of the world's most famous athletes take part in the sprints, such as the 100 and 200 meter world record holder Usain Bolt of Jamaica, women's Olympic 400 meter champion Sonia Richards, and infamous athletes such as former sprinter now convict Marion Jones. Sprints would be more of the glamour part of track, as it is all fast-paced and probably considered the more intriguing part of the sport. Mid-distance consists of the 800, the 1500, 1600, and 3,000 meter runs. Mid-distance is not as fast-paced as a sprint, but not as slow as a long-distance run, but more of a hard run. Unlike the sprints, these races are based on pace and endurance instead of maximum speed. Participants for these events would start in the standing 2-point stance and awaiting the sound of the starting gun. Another tribute that sets aside the mid-distance from sprints is that an individual sprint race, the athletes are required to stay in their assigned running lane for as long as the race carries on, as to a mid-distance race where the athletes all converge into the first lane at the start of the race. For long distance, there's the 5,000 and 10,000 meter runs. These races are solely endurance and strength. These races basically are considered the winner when they're the last one to burn out or the last one to lose their endurance. These races last well over 10 minutes, similar to that of a mid-distance run where the race starts in a 2-point stance and all participants converge to the first lane. Athletes for these long-distance runs are usually much different in appearance considered to the 2 previous events. These athletes are particularly skinny and well more in shape. The hurdle section of track and field is where each athlete runs over a certain distance, running over hurdles instead of jumping. For men, there is the 110 meter hurdles, and for the women, there is the 100 meter hurdles. And universal for both is the 400 meter hurdles, where each athlete would run around the whole track, and that consists of them running over hurdles. The relays is probably a more exciting part of track, as it consists of the 4x4 the 4x8, and the 4x100 meter hurdle races. First off, the 4x4 is usually the main event of most track meets, as it's usually the last event of the meet. The 4x4 consists of 4 members of each team that take turns handing a baton around as they run a lap each. For the 4x800 meter relay, there are 4 participants, just like the 400 meter relay, and they all do 2 laps instead of 1. The 4x100 meter relay is where each participant runs 100 meters handing off the baton. Track and field is an exciting sport which everyone can take part in. I believe that it is fun for everyone and everyone can take a part as it has an event that pertains to all body shapes and sizes. This is my audience. My name is Ian Marshall, and that was my speech on track and field.